Alright, welcome into the next close look. Today we're going to be discussing two new heroes released to Dota 2. The first one is going to be a Phoenix, and a very interesting hero from my perspective because we can discuss a few things about him straight away. So Phoenix was a completely different hero than it is right now. Phoenix wasn't a support the first time he was released, and by the way, I was playing him. It was my most played hero when this hero was released in the beginning. So this was a standalone hero. So what it means is he had great escape, great damage, heal on top of that, so it was damage plus heal. He could jump into the enemy hero, heal and damage at the same time, plus activate a certain ulti that would refresh his cooldown. So on level 6, on the mid especially, nobody could contest you. There was not a single hero that would even closely annoy you. So you buy bottle, you'd be completely fine against anybody, you get your levels, in a team fight, it would be a beast. So that was a standalone hero himself. I was definitely excited about him to play him at the time. He was a very interesting hero, very different hero for that certain generation of Dota. And I was winning all the matches. I haven't really lost any match. I was deciding team fights very easily. So standalone hero on his own, really useful, really a killing beast. This Phoenix, the new one, they made so many changes. They went through the first kind of changes that they usually do. So nerfing him slightly, so nerfing his heal. The numbers are being drastically put down, then reworking his spells slightly. Then it went kind of ridiculously to the point that they were changing this standalone mid hero towards a supportive hero. It took a long time, a lot of changes to reach this point, but it seems because we have this hero in a CM, or we will have in Dota 2, sorry, very soon released. In Dota 1 it's already happening, I think. So this seems, from their perspective, they are saying this is the version we think it's okay, it's fine to play with it, so this is the support that we think it's gonna work all together for many months and years. So that is kind of for the intro of the hero. You are definitely support, not even support that can do something on his own. You need your allies to support you. On a lane, it's better to be with somebody that is useful, so somebody that has a stun maybe, or some ability that is kind of annoying. So for example, it can be anti-mage, can be somebody with the bash. If you are chasing a hero, which with this hero you definitely can, there needs to be somebody that's kind of helping you reach that point that you can actually kill the hero. Somebody's doing the damage that is like instant, not necessarily over time. So let's get into the close look. We're going to be discussing all the skills, all the situations, and of course everything about the hero himself. The first spell we're going to be talking about is the Icarus dive, and this spell is very interesting and very versatile. So you can use it in many ways. You can use it as a form of initiation. You can use it as a form of initiation with a certain slow aspect and maybe even get out safely. You don't need to necessarily park into the enemy heroes. Or, in most cases, this spell is going to be used as a form of escape. So what the spell does is you're going to target the ground, and the Phoenix is going to do like a flyby. When he's going to reach the maximum distance that he can, he's going to circle back. And this takes around 2 seconds, and at any point of this duration of the spell, you can cancel it. So of course, in most cases, what you want to do is reach the maximum distance, cancel it, and run off. That's why the escape ability, of course, you can fly through the trees, through the cliffs. Unfortunately, you are triggering aggro. You are triggering aggro of the tower, so, hits, tower hits, spells are still flying after you. But that can be still okay, because if there's a stun flying on you, you can reach the maximum distance and create a great distance between you and the enemy hero stunning you, so he can't really reach you in the duration of that one stun. So of course you can get out, force a stun, and rejoin the fight from a distance. Icarus dive has a certain slow aspect to it, so the initiation can happen this way. So 25% slow, you can do simply as think. You can do the flyby, put the slow on the enemy heroes, and that can be just that useful, and get back because maybe they're gonna kill you instantly. Of course, you have to be slightly careful about the flyby, because what it does is you can still take the stun. So what if you are flying by, let's create it this way. Let's get a situation. And Enigma would be black holing. She can catch you right away, which of course would be a very skillful thing to do. But still, it can happen, so you have to be careful about your Icarus dive use. The cooldown is not the greatest one, of course, for the spell itself, of course, that makes sense, 36 seconds. On top of that, you're not using your mana to activate the spell, you're using your current HP percentage to activate the spell. So 15% to activate the spell at my current HPs, which is 2000, it's gonna take around 300 HPs down. That's a lot. Even in the beginning, it's definitely noticeable. So that's why the cooldown, it kind of makes sense, and that's why the ability is more as escape, not necessarily just, getting in, because that can be very dangerous. as you see. They can still target you, they can still kill you. Alright, the next spell is called Fire Spirits, and definitely a very interesting one. Again, went through many changes from like a damage source spell to like a supporting type of a deal that's doing a little bit of the damage over time. So what it does, it's creating Fire Spirits around you on activation. There are 4 Fire Spirits. Duration of theirs is 16 seconds. After the duration, they are gonna disappear if they are not used. You're using them by clicking the same button and of course clicking on a target area. The area effect is not that great. You have to definitely target it. You can definitely miss it, as you can see, so you have to be very careful with it. You definitely need to hit it. What it does, it's of course damage over time, which is a nice thing, but that's not the main feature of the spell, to me at least. So it does certain damage over time, that's very nice, but the main feature, even in the beginning, if maybe somebody of your team, from your team, or you are being ganked. So let's say 2 heroes are kind of ganking you, they want to kill you, obviously. So you activate these Fire Spirits, you cast it, and their attack speed is reduced greatly. Duration of each spirit is 4 seconds. So the full duration, 16. Duration of each spirit is 4. So technically you can do 16, let's say 15 duration of the attack speed reduction. That is absolutely huge. It's a magical damage, and as you see, it's very effective. But you need to hit it. That's the point. You need to hit it. But in the beginning, you know, 80, 100, 120, 40, 140. Attack speed reduction 80 in the beginning, when each hero has around like 110 to 130 attack speed. It's pretty ridiculous, and that's gonna save your allies, because the gank, the point of a gank is not just a stun. It's to stun, you know, and start hitting. If you can't do that, you're not gonna get a kill. So that is definitely very useful in a sense of a supporting. Anybody who's gonna be on your lane can be even, you know, from off lane perspective. There's a tri-lane ganking you on off lane. You can stop it if you keep your distance as a Phoenix. If you control the situation from a distance, you can definitely help your allies with the Fire Spirits. On top of that, there's a certain damage, 15, 45, 55, and 75 per second. Cooldown is 45, 40, 45, 30. So again, pretty high cooldown. So you're gonna use it just like once maybe in a team fight. You have to be very precise with it. And unfortunate fact is it's still using your HP as a cost, plus on top of that, little bit of the mana. Not really a big deal. On level 1, I think it's 80. You know, I'm usually gonna be keeping it level 1 because the scaling is, it's good for the damage, but the attack speed in the beginning, 80, is kinda enough. If you look at your other spells, I think they are more useful than the Fire Spirits, at least from my point. So those are Fire Spirits, very useful, even in combination, which we're gonna be, of course, discussing and doing later on with your ulti. Alright, the next spell is gonna be Sunray, and this spell has definitely been a point of discussion on a lot of forums, because it was very strong in the past, and on top of that, everything else was kind of a strong too, so everything together made really overpowered heroes, so that's why Phoenix right now is a support, it seems. So Sunray, it's a laser that's gonna be created on a, as you see the distance, it's pretty ridiculous, it's a full screen distance, and it has its reasoning, because you are very static when you're gonna cast it. So this is your position as a Phoenix when you're activating the laser. You can control it in 2 ways. You can control it by the angle, so moving left and right. As you see, the laser at this point in a test client is kind of a choppy, which I don't think is supposed to be that case, because it seems it's not that easy to control it in Dota 2. In Dota 1, what I remember, you could keep the laser on the target very easily just by like spamming it on the target. The Phoenix would follow the target with the laser. In this case, in Dota 2 test client so far, by the way, I want to preface that, it seems pretty hard to actually control it, for now at least. So you can control the angle, and you can control the distance by moving forward. So with next button, with the toggle, you can control the distance. You can cancel it at any point and get out whatever you want. It has a cooldown that is pretty high too, so 20 seconds. It's again activation, or not necessarily activation, but the duration, it's gonna drain your HPs. So as you see, it's gonna drain your HPs. So you have to be very careful using a lot of spells as a Phoenix. It's gonna cost you, you know, I use 3 spells and 1000 HPs are gone. The damage is based on a percentage from maximum HPs of your target. 1%, 2%, 3%, and a 4% level 4. And damage per second is 15, 20, 25, and 30. There's a certain scaling, so over time, you're gonna be doing more damage than you initially did in the beginning. It's gonna get higher, as you see, when the Sunray is going to be kind of reaching its end. The damage is very high, like this was 1000 HPs very quickly, so of course this would be probably your spell to level up, because it's getting the percentages of the maximum HPs, so it's gonna be useful at any point in the game. It's very nice ability in the sense of reach. You can cancel it at any point and get out if there's a need, or cancel it at any point, get in, cast maybe different spell, which is going to be the ulti, which is going to be discussion right now. Alright, so the ulti of a Phoenix is called Supernova, and I'm definitely happy that they kept this ulti there. They didn't really change it, the visuals, the aspect of it, the idea, so I'm definitely happy they kept it, because everything else was kind of changed from the ground, but the ulti kind of stayed. So ulti, very cool thing, it looks very cool, it turns Phoenix into egg, and of course, from the egg, there becomes a new Phoenix, right? There he is. So what it does, you know, gameplay-wise. So there's a radius of 1000 when you're gonna cast it. In that radius, everybody's being damaged over time, or per second, by, you know, 60, 80, 100 magical damage. If the ulti reaches its end, there's a stun when ulti is ending. This is the stun right here, and it's gonna be 2.5 seconds to level 3. Now, the important part, or the most important part of this spell is attacks to destroy. So what this means is, they have, in the duration of the egg, before the Phoenix rises, right? They have certain amount of attacks. On level 1, it's gonna be 5. On level 3, it's gonna be 10 attacks. So they need to perform 10 attacks to kill this egg before the Phoenix rises. If they don't, they're gonna be stunned, because they are in radius, and the Phoenix is gonna be rising from the ashes, right? Alright, another feature of the ulti is it refreshes all your cooldowns, of course. Other than ulti, it refreshes your mana and HPs. So ideal situation is using all your cooldowns before activating the ulti, so you can rotate the next cooldowns. So the ideal situation would be using all the damage spells on the enemy team, then jumping in, getting the ulti done, and of course continuing with the damage and the new cooldowns. Of course, that is the ideal situation. The ulti is going to be used probably in a lot of cases just very simplistic, like you are avoiding stun or just refreshing your cooldowns, or you are very low on HPs and mana, you're refreshing yourself that way. You can use it very simply. There's a stun flying on you. You can cancel with the ulti. Then he needs to run away or run in. He needs to decide in that moment, because he thinks, oh, well, you know, I'm casting stun, so what I'm doing, I'm running in. But when you're gonna cast the ulti, he has to decide in a second, running away or trying to kill it. In a lot of cases, he's not gonna be able to kill it if they are your allies, which, you know, as a Phoenix, from a Phoenix perspective, you are not standalone hero anymore. There should be your allies. Or you can use it in other ways. You can use it as a form of they're escaping this way, okay? They're being hunted, they're escaping, so what you do, you can get kind of in front of them, get that. They again need to decide in a second if to go this way, where do they go, they split. So that again, you're forcing the decision based on that. Do they attack you, which means your team can catch up? Or do they try to run? Can they make the distance? There is a certain connection between Fire Spirits and your ulti. So there can be, of course, heavy hitters or quick hitters. It's not necessarily mean heavy. Damage doesn't matter. It's the amount of hits. So 10 hits at this point. So what you can do if you are in really deep shit, you are like, okay, I'm gonna die. We can cast Fire Spirits. You can go into the egg. For the first like 2 seconds, they're gonna produce attack. As you can see, full duration of that reborn Supernova happened, and they couldn't attack me even like once because of Fire Spirits. So Fire Spirits in this aspect, when you want to kind of have a safe ulti, when you're in deep shit, you need the ulti, so you can put the one Fire Spirit there, just ulti immediately, and you should be fine. You should be able to rise again. So that's gonna be it from a Phoenix perspective. I'm gonna be, of course, playing very soon support, so at least you know what to do exactly. There's no question about it. You need to support. From on off lane, still very useful here. You have escape, you have help your allies, or from a perspective of safe lane, would be nice to have somebody that is actually useful, that can actually do some damage, or some annoying ability like mana break. Then you can definitely get some kills. Be annoying from a distance, control the team fight. Jump in if you can with the ulti, or just use it as a refresh for your spells against 1 hero, 2 heroes. After casting the 4 Fire Spirits. So that's gonna be with us with the Phoenix, the newly supportive Phoenix for me, because I haven't played support Phoenix yet. I'm definitely excited to try him very soon.